Hi there, Mark here again. Welcome to part 4 of my Terra Scorcher build guide. This is where we got to last time. As you can see, it's all ready to roll. All we need now is the interior, the cockpit and the bodywork, the main body and the wing itself. So let's get on with it. And it does show here in the instructions quite clearly to use different tools. It says use scissors, like I've done here, to cut the main body out. And then it shows using a modelling knife, which I've got one here, for doing the curves. Not usually shown in a Tamiya manual, but I think it is going to be needed around some of the trickier parts. So you do have to cut away quite a lot of the surrounding lexan. So yeah, there's a big chunk left over. I do save all this because you never know, it comes in handy for fixes and so on. So you end up with this. As I say, I've done this with the scissors. This part here I've just had a go on. I've cut out using that score and snap method that's recommended here. So basically, I'll just quickly show you. I'll zoom in. So get your modelling knife and very, very carefully and lightly score around the cut line. And you can do this in several steps if you want, but basically if you just push it into the corner and slowly drag the knife around the cut line. Be really careful and go very slowly. Turn it over, make sure you don't put your finger behind the plastic, just in case you do poke through, because you'll have a nice gouge in your finger, and then we'll go down to the edge. Just cut through there, I think. So let me just finish this. And now in theory what we should be able to do is bend this backwards and forwards. It should snap. Yep. And then we can use a mixture of bending and tearing. There we go. That's turned out okay. There's a little bit of imperfections here, but I can sort those out with a file. So I'm just going to smooth that off and get the body washed and ready for spraying. Okay, so I've rubbed down the edges with this 400 grade wet or dry paper, and I've also gone into the corners in here with a small file, just to smooth all that off. You can also see a bit of overspray there. What I've decided to do is, for this little bit of grill here, it says to paint silver. I thought it'd look better with kind of a less of a gloss effect, so I've gone and cut away the backing with a modelling knife, cut round and just sprayed over with a bit of PS silver. We'll see how that comes out when I peel that off. Unfortunately I've got a bit of overspray, but hey, that's okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do before I paint it is I've got to mask off the windows, because this is a of a 1988 kit. Here's another 1988 kit. I've got the old manual from Thunder Dragon. As you can see, it shows painting with a brush, because there were no PS spray paints then. Well, there's no PS brush paints anymore. But anyway, you don't get any window masks, and I didn't fancy trying to piecemeal a bit of tape onto the back of this to match these shapes. So I've come up with an idea. Let's hope it works. I've got one here that I've already made, which is this side of the window. I stuck the piece of masking tape on the outside and then drawn around it. I'll show you how I've done it. And I've stuck some masking tape onto a piece of paper just to back it onto, because obviously the masking tape is designed to come away from its own backing. So I've used that as like the backing for it. So I'll show you how I did that, and hopefully, because these are mirror images, this one should fit inside on the other side, and the one on the outside there should fit on the inside for the other side. And luckily the front window is symmetrical, so that should just fit behind. Well, that's the plan. Let's see if it works. So I'll show you what I did. Let's do the other side. Let's rip off a piece of masking tape. and put that over the window. Just lightly press it into place. Make sure there's no creases. And I've got a biro, and then just go around that window line right up into the corner. Whoops, doesn't matter about that. And hopefully we'll be getting the shape of that window. I'm not sure if this is going to work, like I said, but you know, we don't know till we try. So it should be something like that. So what I'll do now is going to peel it off. Hope there's enough tack left on the masking tape. I'll stick it onto another piece of that tape, like I said, as a backing. And what I'm going to do now is cut these out and hopefully peel them off and stick them inside. Wish me luck. So that's the 3 masks cut out. They look pretty close if I hold them on. They're not perfect, but they look somewhere near for the front, and the side ones seem to line up okay. So we'll give it a go, see if I can get them stuck on. So as I normally would, I just peeled a bit of my homemade backing off. So try and line it up and see if we can get it in place. It's difficult to get on camera and be able to see what I'm doing because of the side, but I'll give it a try. That looks somewhere close. So see if I can get this off. Well, they're certainly not as good as the Tamiya window masks, but yeah, it looks pretty close to those lines. I just hope we don't get any bleed because, like I say, it's just ordinary masking tape, but yeah, we'll give it a go. So I'll get ready to spray that. I've already cut out the rear wing as well, so I'll get these sprayed up in my nice Tamiya dark metallic blue. Step 40 is attaching the driver figure. Basically, you need to put the 2 halves of the helmet together, as it shows, a little screw in the back. I do like to put some plastic cement on this just to help it seal, and then I'm going to rub down that mould line now when it's dried. I've also put some filler in the back because I don't like having that hole in the back of the helmet. So that's ready to go. I shall rub it down and paint that soon. I've cut out the protective cover. And what I've done now is I've put a bit of masking tape. It's not that accurate, but I just want to keep most of the black, which is this old tin of stuff I've got here, which is a matte black that I'm going to cover this with on the outside. It's not lexan or polycarbonate, it's some other kind of plastic, and I know that the paint that I've just shown you works on this kind of plastic, so it'll be matte black, and then it'll be a little bit easier to paint the driver figure without having to go over the black. So I'm just going to go and spray that now. Back in a bit. Okay, so I've got the cockpit interior sprayed up with that matte black. I've also had a go at hand brushing some white, just some white acrylic on top of the driver figure for his suit. I've also just put a load on the back as well, just to try and make it a bit more opaque. It's difficult to cover with this paint. But yeah, that's looking okay, so I'll just carry on with that. I'll put some seat belts on. I think I'll do his gloves red, and that'll be that. So yeah, get on with that. I've also sprayed his head, the helmet, in red. It's alright, I masked off the face. Now I've got the really tricky part of trying to do the interior. I'll zoom in and see if you can see. I've got a number 0 brush, which is the finest brush that I've got. I'll be using that for detail, and then also a number 1 brush, which is just a bit thicker, and I've made up my own flesh coloured paint. It's white, red, yellow and brown, I think, that I've used in there. So that's what I should be using to try and do the detail on the driver's face, which is really awkward because there's a balaclava in there. I'll just zoom in and see if you can see. I've just started to do a bit of the flesh around his eye. I'm finding it really difficult to see with my old eyes, so you can probably see the difference if I put it under. I've got this magnifying glass. It does make it slightly more easier for me so we'll try and put a little bit more on. Okay, so I'll just get on with that, and then once I've done that, I'll put some white on his balaclava, and then I'm going to go around the edges of the helmet with some matte black. And now a bit of flat white on his balaclava. Again, a bit difficult to get this in the shot, but I'll have a go. And it does need this on because the plastic is quite glossy, and obviously the cloth balaclava wouldn't be glossy. So just carefully get that in there. It's not looking too bad. I think I just need a bit more flesh, and then the black. Got a bit of old Tamiya window mask offcuts that I've used there to get a nice straight line. So that's Arnold finished and ready to go. Put a little bit more detail on the body there, put some harnesses on, or seat belts, and the buckles. His hands are now red. Like I say, I think that's good enough to see through the glass, the windscreen. So all we've got to do is get him mounted in the car. So this is step 41 in the manual. We've just got to put the one screw in the back there. We've got the mount for the rear spoiler, a G3. That's got to go on with two 8mm screws. I've already put that on. And let's just get him mounted. Just put the part of the plastic there underneath that bit of the chassis and do up the screw. Okay then, here we are back from painting. Moment of truth. It doesn't look like the window masks have let any paint through. It hasn't bled, so fingers crossed on that one. So we need to get this off and see if my little method of painting around that grille has worked, and see if the window masks have worked. Here we go. This masking tape has left a residue, only I think I might be able to get that off with some nail varnish remover or something, or maybe some thinners, but looks like they've done the job of stopping the paint. I think it may have reacted with the paint actually. Yeah, the glue's coming off separately. Just pull that there. So yeah, not too bad. Bit of residue to get off, but looks okay. Yeah, overall quite pleased with that. Windows seem alright. Let's take the outer covering off and see how that looks. I'm liking the look of that colour. It looks pretty sweet. Let's go careful around this grille. That's not looking too bad at all. Oh yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Yep, job's a good one. And there it is. I must say, I'm quite chuffed with that. So, I'll clean up this bit of residue and we'll get on with the sticker job. Okay, so I've cut out sticker number 20 first. It does say in the instructions to cut these ones out and stick these on first, 20 and 21. So it looks like we've got to line this up with that kind of vent thing there. It needs to go along the top and then fold over the side. So let's have a go. What I've done is I've just taken a little bit of the backing off there, and I've also split this so that I can put that long piece on first on the top. Well, that's the plan anyway. So if I get this somewhere near. That's come out pretty nicely, so we'll just carry on in exactly the same manner with the rest of the stickers. So as it says in the instructions, I recommend you cut these stickers down as tightly as possible, leaving as little of that clear plastic background on as possible, because it looks better then when you fit it and you haven't got that showing around the sticker. And this one, looking at the placement in the diagram, the end of the end there lines up with the end of that sticker, so it's going to be somewhere near here, like that. I do like this white up against the dark metallic blue, and the light blue really sets it off nicely. It's looking lovely. So that's all the stickers applied to the main body. We've also stickered up the rear wing. So what we've got to do now is get this mounted on the chassis. So first thing we'll do is get the wing on. This part G2, the last part we're going to use, and that goes under this piece like that. We've got to get the 2 screws in. It says 8mm self tappers, but I've got some cap screws that I think are going to look a little bit better. I think I've got 2 left. Okay, so that's that mounted. It's quite a flexible mount, I suppose. That will help it stop braking when it turns over, like it inevitably will. So all we need to do now is push this underneath. There's some Velcro that we need to stick onto the body itself. Do that a bit later. Let's just get this in place. And there she is, finished. What I've got to say, I am really pleased with this. I've fallen in love with this during this build. I wasn't that sure at first, but now I've done it and I'm looking at it. I'm not sure it comes across on camera, but I think this is quite a special buggy. I'm going to really enjoy running this one. Thanks very much for following along. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put some shots of this in some better light, hopefully at the end of the video, for you to enjoy, and see you on the next one. Bye.